Kiss her here and she'll beg you to take her home tonight. Love psychology, most men will never know why she pulled away. Not because she lost interest, not because something was wrong with her, but because no one ever taught them that a woman's body isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's layered, it's a map of trust, memory, and vulnerability that most men spend their entire lives walking past without ever truly reading. And here's the part that will stay with you long after this video ends. The men who understand this really understand it don't just create attraction. They create something far more powerful. They create the kind of connection she talks about with her closest friends, the kind she compares every other man to, the kind she never quite forgets. There are specific places on a woman's body not obvious, not talked about that when touched with the right intention, don't just spark desire, they unlock trust, they awaken emotional memory, they make her feel, maybe for the first time in a long time, completely seen. Most men have no idea these places exist, and that gap, that blind spot, is exactly why so many connections that could have been extraordinary end up feeling flat. I'm going to show you 7 of them today, and I need you to pay close attention, because number 4 is the one that changes everything. It's the one she'll remember when she's lying awake at AM, and it has nothing to do with what you think. But first, let's talk about why most men get this completely wrong. Here's what nobody tells you about intimacy. It doesn't begin in the bedroom. It doesn't begin with a look across the room or a perfectly timed compliment. It begins in the quiet moments, the unhurried ones, the ones most men are too distracted or too impatient to ever notice. Women are wired differently than men when it comes to desire. For most men, physical attraction moves fast, it's immediate, visual, almost automatic. But for a woman, real desire, the deep kind, the kind that pulls her toward you with her whole being, that builds slowly, it builds through safety, through attention, through the feeling that you are truly, genuinely present with her. And when you know where to direct that presence, when you know the exact places that carry the most emotional weight, everything changes. So let's begin, because what I'm about to share with you isn't a trick. It isn't a technique you memorize and perform. It's an understanding, and once you have it, you can't unsee it. The first place is the back of her neck, right at the nape, just below the hairline, just above where her shoulders begin. Stop for a moment and think about what that spot actually means. She can't see it. She can't protect it. It's one of the most instinctively vulnerable places on the human body, the place we instinctively guard when we feel threatened. And yet, when she allows you near it, when she tilts her head forward and exposes that soft, quiet inch of skin, she is trusting you with something she cannot see. That is not a small thing. Neuroscience tells us that the nape of the neck is densely packed with nerve endings that are directly connected to the brain's emotional and memory centers. A kiss there doesn't just feel good, it registers on a deeper level, it imprints. It becomes part of her emotional memory in a way that a kiss on the lips rarely does. But here's where most men ruin it. They rush. They treat it like a stepping stone rather than a destination. They move through it instead of into it. A kiss on the back of her neck should feel like a pause in time. Like the world just slowed down and the only thing that exists is this moment, this woman, this small sacred space just beneath her hairline. Gently move her hair aside. Let your fingers be slow and deliberate. Pause before you kiss her. Let her feel you there. Let the anticipation build. And then softly, like something fragile and irreplaceable, let your lips rest on that spot. No rush, no agenda, just presence. That single gesture says more than most men communicate in months. It says, I see you. I'm not here to take anything. I'm here to honor you. And a woman who feels honored doesn't just feel attracted, she feels safe. And when a woman feels truly safe with you, she opens in ways she never expected to. The second place is just behind her ear. This one is subtle, easy to overlook, which is exactly why it works so well. The skin behind the ear is extraordinarily sensitive, thin, warm, connected to pleasure pathways that run straight to the brain's bonding centers. But more than the biology, think about what the ear represents. It's the place for whispers, for secrets told in dim rooms, for soft laughter that was meant only for you, when your lips find the space just behind it. You're not just touching her skin, you're entering the most private part of her emotional world. Here's what most men miss about this spot. It isn't about intensity. It isn't about being impressive or passionate or overwhelming. The men who understand this place know that restraint is its own form of power. A soft kiss here, barely more than a breath, followed by a whisper of something personal, something only she would understand, can send a warmth through her body that she will feel for hours. You don't have to be loud to be unforgettable. Some of the deepest impressions are made in silence, in stillness, in the moments when you slow everything down and make her feel like she is the only thing worth paying attention to. She won't just remember what you did. She'll remember how you made her feel chosen, not for how she looked in that moment, but for who she actually is. Now we reach the third place, and this one surprises almost everyone. Her inner wrist, not dramatic, not obvious. In fact, so quiet and understated that most men would never think twice about it, but that's precisely the point. Beneath the delicate skin of her inner wrist, you can feel her pulse, her rhythm, the living, constant beat of her emotional state, her excitement, her nervousness, her calm. When you take her hand mid-conversation, turn it over gently and press your lips to that soft spot slowly, intentionally, without explanation. You are communicating something extraordinary. You are saying, I notice the small things. I don't rush past what most people walk by. I am paying attention to you in ways you didn't expect. Psychology research shows that touch on the inner wrist activates regions of the brain associated with empathy and emotional resonance. It doesn't just feel intimate, it creates intimacy at a neurological level. It sparks a kind of recognition, a sense that this person sees me differently than others do. What makes this gesture devastating in the best possible way is the patience it requires. You're not escalating, you're not pushing, you are simply present, fully, completely, unhurriedly present, and in a world full of men who are always rushing towards something, a man who pauses and honors the small things is almost shockingly rare. Reverence, it turns out, is one of the most attractive qualities a man can possess, and this small gesture is one of its purest expressions. The fourth place, the one I told you to wait for, the hollow of her collarbone. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it. That soft, curved depression just above her chest, close to her heart in both body and meaning. There is something almost architectural about it, the way it holds light, the way it sits at the intersection of strength and softness. This is not a place you arrive at early. It requires trust. It requires that she already feels safe in your presence, already feels that you are paying attention to her as a whole person rather than a collection of parts. But when that trust exists, when she has already felt your patience in the other places, a slow, deliberate kiss in the hollow of her collarbone does something remarkable. It communicates admiration that goes beyond the surface. It says, I find you beautiful in ways that have nothing to do with obvious beauty. I see the parts of you that you don't put on display, and I find them worth honoring. That kind of attention is disarming. It creates a closeness that has nothing to do with passion and everything to do with genuine, rare connection. It lingers. It builds. It becomes one of those moments she revisits in her own mind long after the evening is over. The fifth place is the inside of her elbow, unexpected, quietly tender, easily overlooked. And that's exactly why it works. When you kiss her here gently, without announcement, without it feeling like a move, you communicate something she rarely experiences. You communicate that you are genuinely exploring her, not following a script, not moving through expected motions. You are discovering what makes her feel good. And you are doing it because you are genuinely curious about her. There is a profound difference between a man who touches a woman like he's completing a sequence and a man who touches her like she is worth discovering. Women feel that difference immediately. It lives in the quality of attention, in the unhurried nature of the touch, in the absence of agenda. A soft kiss on the inside of her elbow sends a quiet shiver through her. More importantly, it sends a message. You are worth paying attention to in full, not just the obvious parts, all of you. The sixth and seventh places belong together because they require the same thing, real trust. Her stomach, her hip bones, these are vulnerable places. Many women carry complicated feelings about these parts of their bodies, feelings shaped by years of comparison, criticism, and impossible standards. When you kiss her here, you are not just touching skin. You are reaching into a place where she may have felt self-conscious, judged, or unseen. And that is exactly why it matters so much. A gentle kiss on her stomach, delivered without urgency, without the energy of someone rushing towards something else, says, every part of you is worth my attention, especially the parts you try to hide. A soft kiss on the curve of her hip bone says, I love what most people overlook. These moments cannot be rushed or faked. They only work when they emerge naturally from genuine connection, when she already feels safe, seen, and emotionally held by everything that came before. But when they do emerge from that place of trust, they become the kind of memory that doesn't fade, the kind that she carries with her quietly long after. Now I want to give you something extra, something that requires no kiss at all, and yet lands just as powerfully, your hand on the small of her back. Think about what that part of her body carries. The lower back holds tension the way a sponge holds water, silently, invisibly, until it can't hold anymore. It's where stress settles, where responsibility weighs, where the things she doesn't say out loud accumulate day after day. When you place your hand there, warm, steady, unhurried, you are communicating something she may not have heard in a very long time. I've got you. You don't have to carry all of this alone. No words, no grand gesture, just the quiet, grounded warmth of your hand saying, I am here and I am not going anywhere. If you've ever slow danced with a woman and felt her lean back into your hand, really lean into it, like something in her was waiting for permission to exhale, then you already know what this feels like. That lean isn't choreography, it isn't politeness, it's surrender. It's the body's honest, unguarded response to finally feeling held. That is intimacy. Not performance, not technique, intimacy. So let's bring everything together because there's a deeper truth running beneath all of this that I don't want you to miss. Every place I've described today shares one thing in common. They are all places that require you to slow down. They are all places that reward patience over speed, attention over aggression, presence over performance. They are the places a woman notices not because you were impressive, but because you were intentional, because you paused where other men rush, because you honored what other men overlook. From the quiet vulnerability of the nape of her neck to the private warmth just behind her ear, from the pulse beneath her inner wrist to the soft hollow of her collarbone, from the tender surprise of her inner elbow to the deeply trusting spaces of her stomach and hips, from the steady reassurance of your hand on the small of her back, none of these are techniques, they are expressions. They are the physical language of a man who understands that a woman is not a destination to arrive at, but a world worth taking time to explore. And when she encounters a man who moves through her world like it matters, like she matters, something shifts in her. The guard comes down, the armor softens, the part of her that learned to expect to be rushed or overlooked or half seen begins to believe, maybe carefully at first, that this time is different. That is the connection. Most men spend their whole lives chasing without ever knowing how close they were. It was never about doing more. It was about slowing down enough to notice what was already there. Be present, be patient, be intentional. Because the men who understand this don't just create moments. They create memories she returns to, bonds she protects, connections she measures everything else against. And that, more than anything, is what it means to truly cherish a woman.